Thank you so much for coming out. We truly appreciate it. We got one of the greatest actors on the planet, not just a great black actor. He is one of the best actors there is right now. He is on and off Broadway. He's on the silver screen. He's also on television. And he is extremely talented. So I want you to make a big, big round of applause for Anthony Mackie.
I've learned this since I got here. Good night. Good night. All right, I just learned that, so that makes me local. Thank you guys so much for having me. I want to thank Tim Duncan. He wasn't able to be here, but I've been a fan of his for a long time, since high school. So for him to invite me to the islands for you guys meant a lot. And my friends, Sherwin and Sheldon, two of my lifelong friends. It's not often you get to call people friends for over 25 years. I met him and his brother in New York. I was 22, and he was mean to me, and his brother wasn't, so his brother is my real friend. Shout out to Sheldon. Sherwin is not my friend. But I came here to tell you kids, you young people, to give you a lesson, give you a message. My story is not a story of glitz and glam and fortune and fun. My story was a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of sacrifices, a lot of no's. I started acting when I was 7 years old. And I started acting because I didn't make good grades, and I didn't fit in, and I didn't have friends. And look at that, that guy don't fit in. He doesn't have friends. I'm with you, baby. That was me. That was me. That was me. And I didn't fit in, and I was the kid that they called weird. And I was the kid that they said would never amount to anything. I was the kid that they said should be in different classes. I was the kid who they said did not belong. And I had a great teacher, and my teacher had me read a play, and that play was Fences by August Wilson. And at 7 years old, I didn't know what I was reading. I could barely read. But later on in life, I read it again, and I understood the value of the written word, and I understood how that written word could change people's lives if communicated correctly. And I fell in love with acting. And my entire youth, I was in acting classes. And when everybody else would go have fun, I would go with my teacher and do speech and debate competitions and acting classes and do little plays for no money. And it fulfilled my soul, and it made me happy. So when I got to middle school, I auditioned for NOCA, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, which is the art school in New Orleans. And I found a whole school of weird kids just like me. And none of them fit in at their school, so they put us all in one school. And all of us acted and played music and danced and did all the things that made us happy. And then from that, I auditioned for North Carolina School of the Arts, and I got into North Carolina. So when all my friends went to prom, when all my friends got cars, when all my friends did all this stuff their senior year, I sacrificed my senior year and started college. So I gave up my entire youth, all of the fun, all that stuff that they had. I gave it up because I had this passion and this one dream to be an actor. Not to be a celebrity, to be an actor. It's very different. Okay? Love that guy. So when I was in North Carolina, my senior year of high school, a lot of things changed for me, and a lot of things came to fruition. I got into Juilliard, and I moved to New York City at 17 years old to start college and to start my professional journey as an actor. And along the way of those years in training, there were many times when people told me I wasn't good enough. There were many times when people told me I wouldn't make it. There were many times when people told me this was a pipe dream, give up, and go do something else. There were many times in my life when people told me no. Matter of fact, my very first audition after Juilliard, the casting director told me that if I didn't get my teeth fixed, I wouldn't make it as an actor. Very first audition. I'm not gonna say what movie that was, but I wasn't in it. But the great thing about that is I persevered. And while we were in school at Juilliard, my friend Michael Wynn wrote a play called Up Against the Wind. A bunch of students did this play at school when they told us not to, and that play moved off Broadway. That was my very first job. From that play, I got this little movie called 8 Mile. And from 8 Mile, well, I know a lot of you kids haven't seen it. You too. I hope you haven't seen it. But that was the first stepping stone in my career. And that's 25 years now that I've been doing this. And the great thing about that is, and I come here to tell you guys today, never give up on your dreams. No matter what it is, no matter what you want to be. Not everybody's meant to be president. Not everybody's meant to be a movie star. Not everybody's meant to be Tim Duncan, the great, amazing, basketball player, Mr. Fundamental. But everybody's meant to be something. You're put here for a reason. God put you on this earth for a reason. And once you discover that, no one can tell you that you can't do that. No one can tell you you're not supposed to do that. But you have to do that to 100% of your ability. And when you make it, whatever your definition of make it is, you come back and you shake their hand and say, thank you for telling me I couldn't make it. Because now, my job has become to prove you wrong. And this movie is a living, breathing testament. There was everything that stood in the way of this movie getting made. This movie was made 2 years ago. There was a writer's strike, there was COVID, there was an actor's strike, there was a once-in-a-lifetime snowstorm in New Orleans, there was a tropical storm, a hurricane, there was everything that could possibly stand in the way of this movie coming out. But we persevered. And nobody can take that away because we made this movie despite everything else. Despite everybody saying that this movie shouldn't be made, we made this movie. And I'm proud of it because it's a testament to say that everybody that told me no, there you go. So they was wrong. So I came all the way to St. Thomas to tell y'all good night. And thank you for your Johnny cakes, that was amazing. And always believe in yourself and your dreams. And when people tell you no, use that as fuel in your yes-mobile. Yeah. And then come back and shake their hand and buy them a Crucian Confusion. Y'all have a good one. Thank you so much for having me and thank you for being here. What's your name?
My name is Sharia Benjamin.
Hello, Miss Benjamin.
That's my child.
Nobody said hello. They don't care. What's your question?
All right, my question is, what is your advice to young people aspiring to break out into the industry successfully, especially coming from a small community like ours in the Virgin Islands?
I would say this. Be very honest with yourself. A lot of people lie to themselves and as much to their own deficit. Be honest with yourself if you want to be a working actor or if you want to be a celebrity. And if you want to be a celebrity, go be a celebrity. But if you want to be a working actor, there's so many things you can do here on this island. There's so many things you can do in the Virgin Islands. There's so many stories here that aren't being told, that haven't been told, that you can do. You have this dude with a whole streaming service. You can start a podcast. You can start so many different avenues, so many streaming venues that you can take your talent and build upon so that you can tell the stories collectively that need to be here. Because there's so much talent here. You can utilize that talent within your own community and tell your own stories. But if you want to be a celebrity, go be a celebrity. Okay? and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, it was so nice to meet you, Ms. Benjamin. What's your name?
Can't hear you.
My question that I'd like to ask you is, what kind of impact do you want your role as Captain America to have on the new generation of young men?
Well, that's a good question.
I'll say this. When I was a kid, I was a big Superman fan. And I loved Superman, Christopher Reeves as Superman, because he was a good human being. It wasn't about him being a superhero. It wasn't about him having a cape. It wasn't about him being able to kiss a pretty girl. It was about him being a good human being. And his superpower was his superpower was his humanity. So it was very important to me growing up to recognize what a decent human being was and having that to emulate. So I hope little kids of all different backgrounds, races, socioeconomic backgrounds can look at Sam Wilson and recognize the fact that he's a decent human being, and that gives them something personally to aspire to. Thank you. You gotta give me. There we go.
My name is also George. Nice to meet you, Mr. Mackie. My question for you is, you started your journey on 8 Mile, and now you're carrying the Captain American legacy in the MCU. You're a multifaceted actor. How do you mentally prepare for your role? What is the process like?
Great question. My process is very specific, and I had 11 years of training to cultivate my process. I believe that there are 3 things that all of us agree upon, right? Everybody has a favorite food, right? If you had one meal left, what would you pick? It's your favorite meal. And everybody knows what their favorite meal is. Everybody has a favorite song. Everybody can think of one song where it's like that song triggers something in them. Be it your mama in the kitchen cooking breakfast when you were a kid, be it your dad singing it when he's working in the yard, be it the song that your sister sung in the high school talent show. Everybody has a song that triggers something in them. And visually, it's a piece of art. Every character I play, I pick out a piece of art, be it contemporary, be it classical, to represent that character. So food, music, and art always are my first footsteps into my character. So that's just my process, you know. So I love art, I love food, I love music. So they're always, like when we first when Sam was first introduced in Captain America Winter Soldier, one of the first conversations I had with Steve Rogers, when he says, what should I know? I've been on ice for the past 70 years. I tell him Marvin Gaye's Trouble Man. So that song was Sam Wilson's song, you know, for that movie. And when I talked to the Russo brothers, you know, that album came up as a part of Sam Wilson's legacy and background. So that's kind of how that got into the film. So, you know, music, art, food. No doubt. Nice to meet you. Definitely. Friends, how many of us have them? Let's be friends. What's your name?
My name is Kijani Charleswell.
Kadani Charleswell.
Let's go.
Kijan Charleswell. What's up?
My question for you, Mr. Mackie, is as a black African-American man, what were some of your biggest challenges that you faced stepping into the role of Captain America on and off the screen?
That's a good question. You know, my biggest challenge as an individual and as an actor was not so much outside of myself, it was within. A lot of time we face so many things that make us question ourselves, and we don't even realize we're questioning ourselves. So when this first all came about, when it first started, I tuned out everybody else, but I realized I was asking myself, could I do this? So because of everybody else's doubt, I was doubting myself. And usually when most people give up, when most people fail, it's not because of anybody else. It's It's because of themselves. It's because they don't believe in themselves. And that was something, you know, like being an actor, a lot of characters rub off on you. A lot of characters leave impressions on you. And that's why the medium of film is so amazing. And Sam Wilson taught me a lot about self-respect and about self-confidence. And not too many times in my career have I had a character tell me I was enough. And this was the first time, one of the first times in my career where reading the script, sitting down, embodying a character, he told me I was enough. You know what I mean? And so all of that self-doubt and self-questioning turned into self-accomplishment and self-esteem. So for me, the biggest obstacle was getting over my own self-doubt. Nice to meet you. Friends, how many of us have that?
I want y'all to make some noise for Mr. Anthony Mackie. Mr. Mackie took the time to come here just ahead of going to start filming Avengers Doomsday, which will be out in 2026. I want you to say thank you for him taking time out to be here with us. This was brought to you courtesy of the Tim Duncan Foundation, and it's all about relationships. The reason that Mr. Mackie is here is Mr. Sherwin Robinson. Y'all can clap for Mr. Robinson. You ever heard of Jay-Z? Sherwin works for Jay-Z. So, his twin brother Sheldon as well. These guys are tremendous talents and make St. Croix very proud. So please put your hands together for Mr. Sherwin Robinson. Thank you, Mr. Mackie. Hope you enjoy the rest of your stay. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Appreciate you, my brother. All right, man, we're about to watch a movie. Y'all ready?